So first off, I want to establish that yes, there actually is a problem. So let's look at the actual science of that. This is PubMed, is a governmental website that publishes a lot of information online. To be in a medical journal, there has to be reputable sources. This is the International Journal of Oncology. Oncology, if you didn't know, are the people who study cancer. Okay, so straight away, this is a massive study. You guys can see the link here. You could more than welcome to copy it. I could post it for you guys if you really want to know more. But what we want to do is just kind of look at the basic of what this is saying. What this is saying is in 2011, International Agency of Research on Cancer evaluated the cancer risks from radio frequency RF radiation. So RF radiation is the stuff that's coming from towers. It's the stuff that's coming off of your cell phone. Okay, and back in 2011, there was no 5G. Okay, this is 3G and 4G technology that they're testing. You got to understand that 5G is going to be radical increase of the actual frequency. It's not 10 times, it's more like 100 times the amount. We can show you guys that in a minute. Human epidemiological studies. So epidemiology is like looking at all the different studies put together, gave evidence of increased risk of glioma. Okay, so there's an increased risk of glioma. What is a glioma? Let's just go ahead and look at Google. This is what Google has to say. A glioma is a type of tumor that starts in the glial cells of the brain or the spine. So this is saying there's a direct link between the formation of tumors in your brain and in your spine from all the studies that are being looked at together, and also acoustic neuromas. If you want to look at acoustic neuromas, here's the definition here. Morton's neuroma involves a thickening of the tissue around one of the nerves leading to your toes, can cause a burning sensation. So this is pretty much like can cause thickening of tissue and growth essentially in the nervous system tissue, which would lead to nerve pain and a whole plethora of things. Okay, so this says that RF radiation was classified as a group 2B possible human carcinogen. Okay, this is back in 2011. Further epidemiological studies on animals and mechanistic studies have strengthened the association. So further research has said, oh, actually this is a problem. In spite of this, most of the countries have done little to anything about this hazardous RF radiation. On the contrary, ambient levels have increased. And in 2014, WHO launched a draft of a monograph on RF fields and health of public comments. It turns out that 5 out of the 6 members of the core group in charge to draft are affiliated with the International Commission on Non-Ionizing Radiation, an industry loyal to NGOs. So basically what this is saying is the people that are put in charge to actually govern this, 5 out of 6 were affiliated with the very industry that's potentially has reasons to try to hide the scientific evidence. And that's basically what this is saying. They've dismissed the scientific evidence, yada, yada, yada. And then you guys can go through it. I mean, it's pretty obvious. The use of wireless digital technology has grown rapidly during the last few decades. I don't really need to go through this, but basically what it's saying is there's an increased risk of brain tumors, neuromas, gliomas, cancer. There definitely is potentially a major negative health effects that come from RF radiation. Okay, PubMed, International Journal of Oncology. You can find all kinds of research out there. Unfortunately, you're dealing with a multi-trillion-dollar industry that is doing everything they can to make sure that you just keep using cell phones and Wi-Fi and all this technology and not worry about it. As the technology keeps increasing as well. So one of the main questions that I got is, well, Tyler, does your stuff work against 5G? How do you know? How protective is it? Do I need to buy single layer? Do I need to buy double layer? What does that look like? So I want to show you guys some of the charts that are available online today. So this is just one of the companies, and there are many. And you can look at the charts. If they're a legitimate company that's selling EMF protection, they receive certificates of their actual material and what kind of protection it provides across the entire range. Okay, so this is just copy and pasted. I've just blacked out the actual company. I don't want to say anything bad about any other companies. And in fact, all of the companies out there that are providing this stuff have a level of protection that's pretty damn good. So here's just one random company that sells clothing, and it shows CB radio. You can see 4G technology, the level of protection. The way that this is measured is called decibels. So what this is saying for 4G and 5G mobile, when it launches, this is the frequency range, and it will have a 50 decibel reduction in harmfulness against these frequencies. And the thing you got to understand is that the frequency can be damaging, especially if you're close to a tower, if you're holding the cell phone to your head, if you're right next to the Wi-Fi, if you live with a smart meter attached to your house and it's sitting by your office or by a couch or somewhere. These radiations will have damaging effects over time and distance. So the fact that you could put on any clothing that would potentially reduce that and just wear it around the house, a t-shirt, some pants, some shorts, some underwear, whatever. What I've done is the research that I've seen is that it's actually your main organs that are the most sensitive. Your heart, your liver, your kidneys, your lungs, your immune system. The main organs that are affected are, skin, all the things that are exposed. A lot of people are really worried about brain tumors, and yes, you stick a cell phone straight up to your head, there's an effect. But the research that I've done is the head is actually more protective than everything else because we have a thick cranial cap, a thick skull. But that's not the case for children who have smaller skulls that haven't fully developed yet. So they're actually more susceptible. So we should have our kids wearing stuff that is protecting them. But the point I'm trying to make is any level of protection is going to be good. If you can reduce EMF radiation down to a certain point, it's not really going to affect you in a negative way. So I'm not saying anything bad about these companies. I'm just showing you the facts. Okay, so what's happening here is as we start to move into the 5G levels of radiation and future 5G, where 5G has the capacity to go to very quickly, is up into the 30,000, 40,000 megahertz frequency. And you can see what happens with our competitor's brand. They start out at 50 decibels. And then once you start to go into the higher frequencies, you see that the actual protection falls maybe somewhere down in between 30 and 40, which is still protection. It's still good. But what I saw is like, what? I want to have the best protection available. And so this is our actual chart. Our chart is listed slightly different. As you see, this starts at 10, 20, 30, 40. Ours starts at 20, 40, 60, 80 because automatically it's much higher. Okay, so when we move into the current 4G, 5G model, we're looking at in between 60 to 70 decibels of protection. Okay, so you come back to this, 4 to 5G, more around the 50 mark. Okay, so there's around the 50 mark. Ours between the 60 and 70 mark. So straight up, quite a bit more protection just on those lower frequencies. But what's interesting is with the pattern that we've used and the 100% of the silver that we've used, it actually increases with the higher frequencies, which is very interesting. So based on the way that you make it, the pattern, the way that it's stitched, how much you're actually using, and what I've researched is a lot of these companies are using about 40 to 50% silver saturation. Again, ours is 100%. You can see that the protection actually goes up in the higher ranges. So, as they increase this bandwidth and this frequency in the millimeter waves, you actually get more protection. Now, given it's going to be putting out a lot more, but the protection is actually better. And you also got to understand that what I'm showing you here is one layer of protection. Most other companies, all of them that I've found, only has one layer of protection, and it's around that 40 to 50% mark. Ours is 100%, and we also offer double protection. What I'm wearing here is 2 layers. This is showing you the protection of 1 layer. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.